All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Walker, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you here on this rainy, nasty day. Thanks for making the trip out here.
Yeah, no worries at all. It's been a while since I've been out this way.
Yeah, on the west side of town.
That's right.
You do most of your stuff downtown, right?
Yep, mostly downtown or on the east side of town.
Okay.
And, but I took a Spanish class at Pensacola State Warrington, so I have been over this way before.
Okay. Just revisiting the old stomping grounds.
That's right. That's right.
Fantastic. Okay, so for people who don't know you, go ahead and just give us a rundown of where you're from, what brought you to Pensacola, and figure we'll run off from there.
Okay, yeah. So Walker Wilson, I'm currently the executive director for the Pensacola Downtown Improvement Board, and was born in Cartersville, Georgia, and we moved to Pensacola when I was 4 years old, somewhere in there, for my dad
Okay, so really young.
take the opportunity to start his own business. He owned a wooden pallet manufacturing company for 25 years or so. And so, yeah, this is home. This is, kindergarten through 12th grade here. This is where I call home. And so went to public school here, graduated from Washington High School, went off to Auburn University from there.
Cool.
And after I left Auburn, I was back here for about 6 months and was like just not ready to be back yet. And this was, this would have been in fall of 2012 or so. And so kind of picked up and moved to Tampa, Florida, where I had a number of Auburn friends that were from the area and moved back home afterwards. And then also just had a number of folks I graduated high school with that had gone to University of Florida or FSU that had relocated down that way. And so I was like, well, so I've got the most friends, so that's where I'll move.
Yep.
And loved Tampa. Tampa to me is Pensacola on steroids, if you will. It's on the bay. They've got a great downtown. It's close to the beach, and you can always be near water, which is something I always wanted to do, especially growing up here. So, was in Tampa for a little while. Had a business where I sold rail maintenance. It's called Rail Maintenance Materials, where I sold they're called tie plugs to Norfolk Southern Rail Line, and did that for a number of years. Was buying and selling lumber to wooden pallet companies while I lived down that way, which I still do that today. And
Really?
then
Okay.
from there moved to Houston for a little bit because I knew that I was eventually going to move back to Pensacola and wanted one last hurrah.
Opposite direction.
Yeah, so moved to Houston and was there for a short stint, and then moved back home. It was Super Bowl Sunday, 2016. So
Wow, 2016.
Yeah.
Remember who won that Sunday?
yes, I do. I was because it was Cam Newton was in the Super Bowl and he lost to Peyton Manning. So it was bittersweet. To be fair,
Wow. Okay. So Texas back to Pensacola. So what kind of influenced your decision? When were you like, okay, it's time to go back to Pensacola? It's time to. And when you came back, were you planning on staying here for the long term, or?
Yeah, that's the plan. Is I always wanted to get back to Pensacola,
Okay.
and so I just kind of felt like I had run my course. I had gotten the don't want to be here kind of thing out of my system, and was just ready to get back home and kind of get things started. My kind of in the background plan was I would take over my dad's wooden pallet manufacturing company, and got involved in some of the day-to-day over there when I moved back, and just ended up it just wasn't for me. It was the plant was over in Robertsdale, Alabama at the Wilcox Road exit, or better known as the Firework exit, if you will, on I-10. And so I just got, driving 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back every day, 5 days a week was just
It's taxing.
aggravating. Yes.
Yeah.
So I ended up just starting my own lumber brokerage company when I moved back here, and
How old were you at this point?
Oh goodness, I would have been 26 when I moved back.
Okay.
And then shortly thereafter turned 27. So, started that company and still running that today, buying and selling lumber to wooden pallet companies around the Southeast and Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So was that, probably that was a logical progression because you had experience and your dad had experience in wooden pallets then, or?
Right. And I had been buying the raw material for my dad's company since 2012. So
Okay.
it was just I was already doing that. And then along the way, it's, you meet other folks that have a need, and it's like, well, somebody's got to help them out. So it might as well be me. Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
enough.
So you've been doing that for a number of years and you still do that. That's interesting because also, and that's what I want to dive into. You're doing so many different things.
Yeah.
So you're still doing that. And then from there, how long did you do that as your only only gig before you started getting involved in different, or have you always been involved?
Well, so when I moved back, I knew that I would immediately want to get involved and plugged into the community. I was extremely involved in middle and high school growing up here in town, whether that was at church or through, high school organizations. And then when I went to Auburn and lived in Tampa and Houston, I was just kind of like, I did enough of that, and I'm just going to kind of enjoy life. And then, but knew that when I got back here that, I'd be ready to dive back into it. So really I did two things when I moved back in February of 2016. I knew I wanted to join the Pensacola Civitan Club, which is not very known in the community, but probably one of the oldest civic organizations here in town. Civitan International is a worldwide organization that focuses on helping those with intellectual and physical disabilities. I was in that organization in high school, and my senior year ended up being the international president for that organization. So it was always near and dear to my heart, and wanted to jump back in there and met a guy named Rusty Branch, who kind of,
Rusty.
He brought me into a breakfast group with a group of guys that met at Seville, once a month, and would just kind of talk about what was going on here in town locally, politically, and around the state, and made some good connections through that. Also knew I wanted to join Pensacola Young Professionals. I had heard about it growing up here, had heard about it when I was off at college or when I'd come back. Some friends that were still here that were involved, and just thought, well, this is probably a good opportunity to get my foot in the door. And immediately signed up for a leadership role with that, and met Alex Andrade through that organization. He was also in the breakfast group that we were meeting with once a month with Rusty. And so we became good friends, and we were running a team for PYP, and eventually down the line became president of that organization, and here we are.
Yeah, and you were president. When did you?
So
last year, I think, right?
Yeah, so last year. So I'm technically still on the board right now. I'm the immediate past president of Pensacola Young Professionals, and so it's been kind of nice to take kind of a back seat role in that organization, and kind of help facilitate what all they're doing.
Gotcha. So you came in, you said you had heard about them, and then you came in and applied for a leadership role. I mean, did you jump straight into leadership then?
I just jumped straight in. I mean, because they had the fiscal year for PYP ends in March. And so they were trying to fill all their leadership roles for starting in April. And I was like, well,
perfect time.
I'll roll the dice. Well, they're going to tell me no.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, landing a kind of a co-chair position, I think is what it was called. And we were over economic development and government affairs for PYP. And so we would book speakers every month from local representatives, or as the mayor, county commissioner, state representative, something of that sort, to kind of give us a scoop on what's going on and for them to hear our feedback of what we saw as young professionals.
Okay. So then for those who don't know, you kind of explained a little bit of it, but give a synopsis of what PYP is and why it's beneficial for young professionals. I think one thing, sorry, not to cut you, I asked you a question, I just cut you off.
You're good.
I think one of the biggest things is just networking that I have been familiar with, but I know it does so much more than that. So
PYP to me is really, if you're looking to get involved here in town, if you're young or new to the area, it's to me the first stop of where you should go. No questions asked. I mean, COVID has really taken a hit on the organization as far as what we can do. Because like you said, the networking aspect of that organization has always been what is kind of the shining light for that, for PYP.
You can't really get together and do anything.
Yeah, but they are coming back next Thursday for their first in-person event. So that's exciting. But getting those connections and just meeting people in Pensacola is, a medium-sized city, but gets small pretty quick. So you're really going to meet folks pretty fast in different industries here in town. And then also we've got avenues for, if you're not into networking, which I guess, sounds scary at first, but really at the end of the day, you figure out it's just a bunch of people standing around drinking a beer and talking about what they do for a living. It's not, just like another day. And we've also got avenues for folks to get involved with community service with the quality of life team. If you're interested in politics or, what's going on economically here, we've got an avenue for that. If you're into marketing and want to kind of, or dip your toe into it at all, we've got, an avenue for you to do that as well. And so it's really gives a voice to the young professionals in this community, and really just a way for everybody to meet each other. And then everyone in that organization is in every other organization in town. And so if you want to get plugged in, go to PYP, meet some folks, and then they'll get you plugged in with another organization.
I like what you said, that Pensacola is a medium-sized town, but it gets small pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because I've been here for 3, maybe 4 years, and I by no means know half the people here. I mean, not even close, but a lot of people that I meet, like you said, you know, you met Rusty Branch. Oh, I know him. Yeah. So it's like a lot of people know each other.
Yep.
So it's really, I mean, you got to be careful what you say about who, but
yeah,
it's nice to know that, you know, when you meet people that you trust, they have other people, and it's all a big kind of spider web. So,
and everyone's wanting everybody here to do better. I mean, that's the great thing. And so if you do have an interest in, you know, whether it's Art Gateway or Take Stock in Children, Big Brothers Big Sisters, whatever it is, you know, there's an outlet for you, and somebody within at least PYP is going to have a way to get you involved.
Interesting.
That's great.
Okay. So you're the immediate past president, and you're still involved a little bit at PYP.
Yep.
Okay. So then what else? That's kind of been pushed to the back burner. And is the lumber brokerage, you said you're still doing that? I'm assuming
still doing
not a whole
that.
lot of time on
that. And it never really took up my whole week doing that. So it gave me an opportunity to really get involved with PYP or other organizations that I'm involved with in town. And I know we kind of talked a little bit about Onbikes Pensacola, which is an organization I started here in town with some folks I met through PYP and some friends of mine that I had grown up with here. And Onbikes Pensacola is a local nonprofit where we strive to give every underprivileged and foster child a brand new bike for Christmas. So we're in the depths of it right now.
Yeah, you're getting close to the finish line.
Yeah,
here.
it's about to happen. So
now, is that recurring every single year?
Every year. So I started that. We started that in the summer of 2016.
Okay.
And we've been giving bikes away since that, you know, I guess December 2016.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I think after our bike build, we'll have given away about 2,700 bikes to kids in the community.
That awesome.
Is huge.
It's been a lot of fun.
Huge number. Wow.
A lot of fun.
Okay. Man, that's awesome. I love hearing that. So the bike build, that's coming up here soon, isn't it?
Yeah, the bike build is actually November 21st, and it's going to be down at Pensacola Bay Center. Okay. And we, you know, get people to go to our website and sign up for a volunteer shift. And we're having to do things a little wonky this year because of COVID, but who isn't? And so we're still going to put together 500 bikes that day and get them out the door. And we've had a great partner in Sue Strawn and Communities Caring at Christmas. She can use about any bike that we can give her and give it away, because she serves about 8,000 to 10,000 children at Christmas time, providing them with gifts. And
that's a huge number.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just, it's hard to imagine that many people and that there's a need for that in the community we live. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So the bike build, that's exciting. And I mean, 27,000 bikes, you said?
2,700.
27. I was like, okay,
we'll get there. Don't worry.
Now.
Don't worry.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, eventually you will. You're going 4 years strong. So good for you. Now that's, you said people can sign up. Is that a paid event, or you said volunteers?
It's a volunteer, but we still,
get together
because of Corona, and just so that we don't have too many people, we've gotten to the point to where we'll have, like, you know, the problem of too many people are trying to help.
That's a good problem.
It is. It really is. And so we ask everyone to go, you know, to onbikespensacola.org and sign up to volunteer. And they get sign up for a free ticket. So it's been a lot of fun, and with the growth has come some of these challenges of too many people want to help, and you just got to kind of set a limit on it. And that was actually a program that one of my fraternity brothers from Auburn and some of his friends started down in Tampa. So I want to say Tampa's on their 10th or 11th year of doing on bikes down there. And, they give away a tremendous number of bikes to kids in that community as well. And I know COVID's hit them hard as well, and they're kind of changing the way they do things, but they'll get through.
You gotta adapt.
That's right. That's right.
So, okay. On bikes, that's exciting. I love that. And I hope maybe, we can get some people to go sign up. Are you still letting new people sign up, or are you pretty close to
so
capacity?
we have 2 shifts that we run that day. So we have folks come in and work from 9 to 11 assembling bicycles, and then we'll have a break, and then from 12 to 2 some more people will come in. So the first shift is already full, but we still need about 100 people on that second shift to come in and we like I said, we've got the bikes, we've got the tools. All we needed you to show up and help us put them together.
And for 2 hours, that's not a long period
No,
of time.
it goes by really, really quick.
Yeah.
And you don't have to know how to build a bike. You can be any age that you want to and come down. So it's a family-friendly event, and we're gonna keep the workstations. You walk into the base center, and you're just gonna see tables everywhere. We're going to put 4 people at each table to build bikes. Everyone's got to wear a mask, got to check their temperature before they go into the building. And then we'll have
precautions.
Yeah, and we'll have sanitizer at all the tables and all that to make sure that we're not, or at least that we're doing our part to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
That
sounds good. Awesome, man. I love that. And I love what you're doing, and that you just started something like that because you saw a need.
Yeah. And it's fun. And it's like, I get questions a lot about, how do you run something like that? How did you know to do this? And it's like, none of us knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
We just had an idea of what it might look like. And then kind of, Quint Studer says this a lot. You just jump in traffic and figure it out. And so that's kind of what
advice.
we did.
Yeah. Seriously.
And so we were by no means experts on how to put an organization together like this and get bicycles in the hands of kids and put on our bike ride that we do every year to help fund the whole thing. But just, once we got the wheels turning, pun intended, I guess, it's just started to click, and we've got a great team of folks, most of whom have been there since day one. And we've added a few new folks into the mix as well.
Yeah.
But it runs smoothly, and we really enjoy it.
I love that. I feel like a lot of times all it takes is just getting started on something, and then once you get started, the wheels start turning.
Yep.
And the more people see what's going on, people like to get involved in things like that they see a good cause, and the more people you get involved, the more you can get done, and then it just kind of takes off. And I feel like it has a mind of its own at some point.
That's right. And it helped us. I mean, some of the folks I recruited from the get-go were just ready to be in an organization where they could see a tangible outcome of something they were working on. And I mean, there's nothing more tangible than building a bicycle and putting it in the hands of a kid.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was just the mission's super simple. It's just putting it all together to make it work and get bikes out the door on the other end.
There it is. Jump in traffic and figure it out later.
That's right. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So on top of that, you are now the executive director of the Downtown Improvement Board. Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
So how did that happen? How did that come about?
So, I, always been interested in what's going on here locally, been kind of plugged in with different things, whether that was, I ran for school board in 2018 unsuccessfully, but through that, I had the opportunity to work for Quint on the Grover's mayor's transition team when he put that together, and that kind of rolled into jumping on supporting the referendum for moving to an elected to an appointed superintendent, which then turned into me being on the advisory committee or the selection committee for the next superintendent that just started, I think, a couple of days ago.
Wow.
So it's kind of like this is just kind of reaction, and all that kind of stemmed from joining PYP and then doing Onbikes and meeting folks and kind of jumping out there in traffic, like we said.
Yeah.
But so I was kind of always plugged in what was going on downtown, and saw that the person that was there before me was moving over to the city and leaving her job at DIB, and parking, which DIB was over for downtown, was moving over to the city with her. And so I thought, well, that was already kind of an interesting job, and maybe without parking, it's a little more interesting.
Yeah. So when you say without parking, what does that mean?
So the DIB was managing all of parking downtown. So if there was a group of guys that worked in that office that were out there making sure that you had paid your toll, or and if you didn't,
meter maids.
that would give you a ticket. And so they were managing the financial responsibility of all that. They were managing the Jefferson Street garage, and everything that came with that. So the city, I think, saw an opportunity to move it in-house down at City Hall and be able to expand parking services throughout the city and get a little bit more unified. Which is
a good thing.
Yeah. And I think it'll end up working out better that way in the long haul, because there's just more resources over at the city.
Sure.
Instead of this kind of 7-man shop in a 500 square foot office, which is what we're in now.
Yikes.
So
wow.
But yeah, so I just like, well, I think I've got decent resume. I'll put it in there. We'll see what happens. And went through 2 interviews and ended up getting the job.
Just like PYP. What are they going to tell you
Yeah,
now?
what are they going to tell me now?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just jump into traffic. I like that. So now, without parking then, without that, big thing, what does your day consist of? I mean, what's your job at the DIB?
Right. So the Downtown Improvement Board was started, I believe, in 1972. And it was to promote downtown, remove blight, keep downtown safe, and raise property values. And today, that's still our mission, is to do all of that. And some folks will say we've, good job, you've done it.
There's always going to be people who don't say that.
But at the same time, you're not going to have, if you don't have a DIB, you're not going to have 2 folks out there 7 days a week cleaning the streets, making sure that all the trash cans are emptied, that graffiti's getting taken off of the walls, that the broken beer bottle's not there from the night before, that the cigarette butt's not there from the night before. And it's hard to recognize those things when it's already been taken care of.
That's
and
true.
you never see it because we have somebody taking care of it.
Exactly. You don't notice it until it's a problem.
Bad. Right. And so I think that, that's one thing that we do very, very well. Another thing is keeping downtown safe. We have 2 dedicated cops with the DIB that we hire out. And so during those very peak hours on the weekends, or if there's an event going on, during the weekday, those 2 cops are either on bikes or on foot or in a vehicle patrolling the district and just making sure that we've got them in the area to keep everything safe. We are making sure that we're promoting the businesses downtown through marketing what's going on within the district to try and drive foot traffic down that way. We also do our best at marketing folks, visitors that are at the beach, and letting them know that we're more than just white sands and beautiful beaches.
Yeah,
but
downtown's pretty close.
We've got downtown, so when you're sunburned on Monday after you've been here for a few days,
you
can come downtown and get a great dinner at Global or Iron, or grab some tacos at Taco Agave, or you watch the football game at World of Beer. So, we do our best to make sure that we're promoting everything that's going on in the district so that we can get as much foot traffic and people in the doors as possible.
Gotcha. So you're really just trying to raise awareness and bring traffic and keep things clean. Running smooth.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's going well.
Wow. So is that like an office job for you? Are you there like 9 to 5?
I'm there. Yeah, 9 to 5. And we're downtown at Palafox Tower, right there on Palafox and Government. Okay. And we also do the Palafox Market on Saturdays, if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
So we're out there 51 weeks out of the year. The only Saturday we're not there is Mardi Gras because there's a parade going on.
Yep. Okay. He came and visited in January. And I told him he had been down here once or twice before, but I went to school at Pensacola Christian. I don't know if I told you that or not, but so whenever he would come and visit, we were doing stuff on the college or at the beach.
Right.
But now I know that there's so much more going on. So I told him, I said, come down and visit Pensacola, and I promise you will want to move here.
Yeah.
And he came with his wife and my sister, actually, and all 3 of them moved down a couple months ago. But having said that, when he was here, we went to the downtown market, and it's really, I haven't been to anything like that, in a long time, if ever. And it's so much fun. You just walk, Palafox, and it's just, there's so much going on.
It's great.
And that's not even about just the market. There's just so much going on in general. There's always, like you said, there's always something to do.
Always something to do.
Which is exciting because, again, Pensacola is not a huge town. But if you know where to look, there's things that you can go have
Keep
fun
yourself busy for sure.
Exactly.
I will say one thing that was attractive to me too, talking about you don't notice it until it's bad. I definitely noticed when it was good. Like we came down, we went to the Palafox Market, we, hung out Friday night, and we just did stuff downtown, and I was just like, this place is so clean. I just love it, compared to Alton. Alton's not bad.
Yeah, small town, close to St. Louis.
I was just amazed at how pristine everything was. So I mentioned that to one of our friends, and he was like, "Yeah, they're constantly working to improve that and keep it going steady."
There's some good feedback for
That's
it.
That is.
I'm sure you get plenty of poor
cleaning
feedback.
ladies know that.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that about. There's always somebody who's saying, "Good job, your time is up," or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Jonathan Owens is who introduced me to you, and just when I interned with him at the county office, I was surprised at the kind of stuff that people will find a problem with.
Yeah. I mean. Every day, and so and we get calls about I'll get emails about trash being in a parking lot and that it's coming from so-and-so establishment and something needs to be done, or got a call today about graffiti underneath the I-110 overpass, and that there's some maybe explicit words there that need to be taken care of. And so, which is good, that they're letting us know that it's there and not just telling their friends about it. So, because that's what we're there to do, is we're there to fix those kind of problems, because it's going to happen. Yeah. We remove probably 20 to 30 graffitis a month from places in downtown Pensacola. And
as we're talking, I'm trying to think of any time I've ever seen
I know
graffiti.
same thing.
I don't think I ever have.
No.
So again, I'm sure it's not overwhelming, but I'm sure you're kept busy by all these people submitting things.
Like it.
Right.
But you're doing a good job. So
thanks.
So I love hearing about all that. I have a couple more questions for you before I let you go. First of all, with everything that you're involved in and all that you're doing, I'm sure you have opportunities coming to you often, or you see things that you could get involved in if you had the time or you wanted to. Do you have kind of a mental checklist or a selection process for what you want to get involved in, or for what you do? Like, yes, this would be a good thing to jump into.
Yeah. So I think, at first I was just like, I'm just going to cast my net as wide as possible and see what I like. And I had the time to do that. And then kind of was able to get involved with organizations here in town and kind of now pick and choose what it is I'm wanting to do and not wanting to do. But especially now that my time is a little bit more constrained than it maybe was in the past. I've got to be a little bit more picky and choosy, or just have the ability to say no to someone, even if it's something that does pique my interest. But I'm always looking for something that's going to move the ball forward in this community. I talk a lot about how when I look at folks my age that grew up here, they're in Nashville, they're in Birmingham, Atlanta, Tampa, Charlotte, wherever, because they, I'm 31, so I graduated Washington in 2007. When we would come home for Christmas or New Year's or whatever, there was Hopjacks, Seville, Fish House. That was it. And then we got Blazoo's, which is where World of Beer is, which was like a jazz bar. And it was like, oh, we've got something new and cool. Let's go check it out.
Sure.
And so the nightlife wasn't here. There wasn't cool restaurants downtown. Hub Stacy's is cool. It was there.
Okay.
So to be fair. But there wasn't the activity like you're seeing now that you've just gotten here. And so in my mind, we've lost a lot of folks my age that I don't know that we'll ever get back. And so how can I get involved in organizations that are going to help move that needle over time? It's not going to happen overnight, because where we're at now didn't happen overnight. It took, 10, 15 years of investment in downtown and this community to get there. So how do we make sure that the folks that are, 19, 20 years old right now, when they come home for Christmas or Thanksgiving here in a couple of weeks, that they're like, oh, you know what, I could see myself here. And really enjoy it. And because our competition is not Fort Walton and Mobile, it's Nashville, Atlanta, Birmingham, New Orleans, Tampa, Orlando, Miami, which are huge cities that are very hard to compete with as a Pensacola. But what can we do to make sure that we've got elements of those cities that folks that are from here find attractive, that when they think they go off to college and they're graduating looking for where they're going to start their career, that, Pensacola isn't so bad after all. The cost of living's great. I'm close to the beach. Yeah. My friends and family are all here, and I can see myself moving here. So, looking for things that can help move the needle in that direction. And, PYP has been one of those. And now with the Downtown Improvement Board, I think that's definitely, this has been my maybe more public opportunity to help make that happen. So
I love that. That's awesome. That's a really good answer. That it does answer the question that I was wanting. Well, having said all that, then in your spare time, what are you up to? What do you do? What do you enjoy doing? Are you into surfing or just going out to eat?
I just like going out to eat, enjoying the city. I like to travel and go see my friends that I grew up with that are in those other cities, or go see my friends from Auburn. Love to go to Auburn football game when I can, and love going to the beach when there's a bridge. I like stealing my parents' boat and taking it out during the summertime. So just really anything socially active as you count me in. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on the podcast. Number one,
Yeah.
I know, again, your time is very important to you and you're busy. And it really means a lot to us that you were willing to jump on here and talk about some of the stuff that you're up to. Where can people find out more about you? I know you're active on Facebook. Are you on Instagram more? Or?
Yeah, I've got Facebook.
Everything.
I've got a Instagram, J Walker Wilson. Just got a LinkedIn like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
So
Hey, cool.
my girlfriend made me get one of those. And I guess it's just Walker Wilson under there. I'm not quite sure how it works yet. But yeah, feel free to give me a call. My cell is 850-485-1889 or shoot me an email at walkerwilson@downtownpensacola.com. And happy to chat.
Sounds good. Fantastic. Thanks, Walker, again.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right.